Sorry, crap. My name is Tanthai Wongwichienkul. I'm a student of the digital engineering at PSU Phuket campus. Today, I will present my cooperative education performance report from my internship at Arise by Infinitus, where I work as a full stack developer from January to May 2026. All right, let's get started. So today I will cover seven areas today, which is company overview, my role, the technologies that I use, the work that I did, and my performance summaries, skill gain, and finally problems and suggestions. And let's get started. So here are the company overview. Uh, Arise by Infinitus is a fintech and a digital platform from a company based in Bangkok. They built a large-scale back-end system for government and private sector clients. Uh, Most notably, the Pautang applications, which millions of Thai users use for digital wallet and government services. The company used modern practice like microservices, architecture, and agile developments. During my internship, I was gained and I was assigned to build a backend API for the GLO Lotto entry and the L6 feature inside the Pautang. All right, so which is a lottery applications. All right, next, roles and work procedure. My role was a full stack developer with a strong back end focus. My work has three phases. First, I study HDL documents and design the API spec in Confluence. Second, I implement those API in Golang and integrating with SQL, Redis, Kafka, and Docker. And third, I present my design in security design review meetings and I prepare for deployments. So look at the timeline here. January was onboarding architecture study, and in the February was the API design, and March and April were development sprints, and May was the security design review, debugging, and wrapping up in the last month here. All right. The next here is the fundamental knowledge that I have got. So let me quickly cover the key technology that I work with. The first one is Golang. The main backend language is fast, handle concurrency well, and widely used in the enterprise microservice. I also trained in the hexagonal architecture during the internship. And next is the RESTful API. I used a standard HTTP method, get, post, put, delete with all data in JSON formats. And the next here is I use the microservice and Kafka. The system is splitting into independent service that communicate through Apache Kafka for asynchronous messaging. You can see the actual Kafka UI dashboard here. This is what I monitor daily, showing three environments: prod, dev A, and dev B here. And the next here is Docker, as shown in the diagram from our project. I ran multiple containers simultaneously with different Go and Node.js version, ensuring consistent environments from developing to productions. And the last technology that I have used is the MySQL and Redis, which is were used for data storage and caching. And security design review was the formal process to validate the API security before deployments. All right. Next here is the work descriptions. Uh, Now for the actual work that I perform, I start with the requirement analysis, reading HDL documentation, mapping out the business logic for entry and L6 lottery flows, and I creating a sequence diagram. From that, I wrote a detailed API spec in Confluence covering the endpoints, request structure, response formats, and validation rule. And then for the backend development, my core task, I built a RESTful API in Golang for lottery purchasing, result query, and transaction. You can see the Postman screenshot here, but this one is the my project that I have done in my free time. It's not, I cannot show you the actual data. So this is how I test each endpoint with the real JSON request body during the development. I also integrate with Kafka event publishing. So when user buy a lottery tickets, those events are sent asynchronously down the stream service, and everything ran in Docker container, and all work passes through security design review where I present my API design to the senior engineer who check for the security vulnerability before anything was deployed. All right. Next here is the performance summary. So for summarizing my performance, I successfully complete works across all six area: system design, API documentation, backend developments, Kafka and microservice integration, Docker environments, managing and security design review. I contribute working API to the real production system used by millions of users, which I genuinely proud of it. All right, the skill gain. The skill that I have gained from this internship here is from this internship, I gained strong technical skill from in Golang, RESTful API, microservices, Kafka, Docker, and hexagonal architecture, most of which I had never used in university or professionally. I improved my documentation, presentation, and teamwork abilities, and I experienced the full software development life cycle in a real enterprise environments. And next here is the problems and suggestions. So I faced three main challenges. First, understanding the complex microservice architecture took significant time, far more than academic projects. Second is debugging async Kafka error across multiple services was difficult without centralized monitoring. Third, adapting the enterprise level documentation and security standard had to step learning curve have a steep learning curve, yeah. And my suggestion here is to study architecture through before coding, using centralized login tools for easier debugging, improve onboard documentation, and continuous develop both technical and communication skill. All right, and thank you. In the summary, for fourth month at Arise by Infinitus gave me a hands-on experience building a real backend system with Golang, Kafka, Docker, and MySQL within a professional microservice environment. I'd like to sincerely thank my supervisor, Mr. Shashawan Sama, and Professor Nortep for their guidance through this journey. Thank you for you all listening. I'm happy to take any questions from Cup.